The night supervisor told me to ignore the guy who kept coming back to the loading dock after we'd already closed it. He said it like it was normal, like it happened all the time. And honestly, that was the first thing that felt off about that job. Not the hours, not the warehouse itself, not even the fact I was alone half the night. It was how everyone acted like weird things were just part of the routine. I should probably explain. It was a logistics warehouse on the edge of the industrial zone. One of those places you only notice when you're stuck in traffic at night and see the floodlights glowing over a huge metal box of a building. I was doing inventory control on the night shift. Basically, I sat in a small office above the floor, checked shipments, fixed system errors, and occasionally went down to verify pallets when the scanners messed up. Easy job on paper. Quiet. Boring. That's what I wanted. First 2 weeks were exactly that. Nothing interesting. Just me, a microwave that barely worked, and a security guard who mostly watched football on his phone. Then the third week, things started shifting in a way I can't really explain cleanly. Not dramatic, just uncomfortable. It started with small stuff, like I'd be downstairs checking pallets and hear footsteps where there shouldn't be anyone. The warehouse is huge, and at night only certain sections are supposed to be active. Most of it is locked off. But I kept hearing movement in the dead zones. Not running, just walking, slow, deliberate. I asked the guard once. He didn't even look up from his phone, just said, probably the night forklift guy. He wanders. I said, there's no forklift scheduled right now. He shrugged. Yeah, well. That was the first moment I realized nobody there liked explaining anything. The guy who kept coming back to the loading dock showed up on the 4th week. I was upstairs in the office, around 1:40 a.m. when the intercom crackled. Hey, you upstairs? It was the supervisor, Malik. He sounded tired, like always. Yeah, I said. What's up? There's a guy at Dock 3. Don't engage him. Just log it. I remember pausing. What kind of guy? A short pause. You'll know. Then the line went dead. I looked at the dock cameras. Dock 3 was at the far end of the building. Poor lighting. Camera always slightly grainy. At first, I didn't see anything. Just empty concrete and a half-closed roller door. Then I saw him, standing too still. He wasn't wearing anything unusual, just a reflective vest over normal clothes, like he worked there. That's what made it weird. He didn't look like an intruder. He looked like someone who belonged there more than I did. He didn't move for a long time, just stood facing the camera, not the door, the camera. Then he waved, like he knew I was watching. I felt my stomach drop a bit, which sounds dramatic, but that's the only way to describe it. Not fear exactly, just immediate wrongness. I called Malik back. Hey, the guy at Dock 3. Don't go down, he interrupted immediately. I wasn't planning to, I'm just asking who. He does this sometimes, Malik said. He'll leave soon. That didn't answer anything. Another pause. Then, just log it, all right? Don't engage. And that was it. No explanation. Nothing. I watched the man on the camera for another 10 minutes. He didn't leave, didn't move, just stood there like he was waiting for something specific to happen. Then around 2:05 a.m., he turned and walked away into the dark between two trailers. No hurry, no hesitation. Like he got what he came for, I logged it because that's what I was told. But I didn't sleep much that morning. The next shift, I asked the security guard about him again. He finally looked up this time. Oh yeah, he said. Dock guy. That's not an answer. He smiled a little, not friendly. More like annoyed, I was asking. He's not dangerous. That's not what I asked. He went back to his phone. You'll get used to it. That phrase kept coming up there. You'll get used to it. It's crazy how fast a place can normalize things if enough people agree not to talk about them. Over the next week, the dock guy showed up twice more. Always after 1 a.m., always alone, always just standing there like he was waiting for approval to exist. And every time, the reaction from staff was the same. Don't engage, log it, ignore it. No one ever said what would happen if I did engage him. So of course, I started paying more attention. One night, I stayed downstairs longer than I should have. Inventory glitch near the cold storage section. I was fixing it on a handheld scanner when I heard footsteps again. Not near me, above me, on the catwalk. I looked up and saw nothing at first, just steel beams and shadows. Then I saw a figure walking along the upper walkway. I froze because nobody should have been up there. The catwalk access was locked during night shift. I called up, "Hello?" The figure stopped. Didn't answer. Just leaned slightly over the railing. It was him, the dock guy. Close enough now that I could see details I didn't notice on camera. Mid-30s maybe. Tired face. Not unwashed or anything, just worn. Like someone who worked too many jobs or hadn't slept properly in years. "Hey," I said again, more cautious. "You're not supposed to be up there." He didn't react like I expected. No panic, no surprise. He just said, "You're new." It wasn't a question. "Yeah," I said slowly. "Who let you in?" A small pause. "They don't really let me in," he said. That should have been my exit moment. The moment I leave, report it, call someone. But instead I just stood there like an idiot, waiting for him to explain. He nodded toward my scanner. "That's not working right." I looked down at it instinctively. When I looked back up, he was gone. I went upstairs immediately after that, locked the office door and sat there for a solid 20 minutes, pretending I wasn't shaking slightly. When Malik called later for shift check-in, I told him what happened. There was a long silence. Then he said, "You saw him upstairs?" "Yeah." "That's new." That's what he said. "That's new." Like it was an upgrade in a system, not a guy appearing in a restricted area. "Should I be concerned?" I asked. "No," he said too quickly. "Just don't interact." That's not an answer. Another pause. Then he added, "He's harmless. He just tests access sometimes." Tests access to what? But he didn't answer that. After that, I started noticing other things, like how sometimes my access card wouldn't work on doors I'd used every night before, or how logs would already be pre-filled when I got in, or how the security cameras would show me in places I didn't remember going. Nothing dramatic, just small inconsistencies, the kind of things you could convince yourself you misremembered. Until the night everything stopped feeling like coincidence. It was a Thursday. Heavy rain outside, the kind that makes the warehouse roof sound like it's under constant attack. I was alone in the office because the guard had called in sick. Malik said someone from day shift would check in remotely, whatever that meant. Around 1:15 a.m., power flickered. Not fully out, just a dip. Monitors dimmed, came back. Then the cameras went offline for about 30 seconds. When they came back, Dock 3 camera showed something different. The dock door was open. I remember staring at it, trying to make sense of it, because I knew I hadn't seen anyone open it. And standing inside the dock, facing inward, was the dock guy, except this time he wasn't alone. There were 2 other figures with him, both wearing high-vis vests, both standing still, like they were waiting for instructions. I called Malik immediately. No answer. Called security. No answer. That's when I felt something shift. Not fear, exactly. More like isolation hitting all at once. like the building had suddenly become much bigger, and I was the only person still actively aware inside it. I grabbed the radio. "Hello? Is anyone on comms?" Static. Then a voice. Not Malek, not security, the dock guy. "Don't go downstairs," he said calmly. I froze. "How are you on this channel?" I said. No answer to that. Just stay upstairs. I looked at the camera again. The three figures were still there. Not moving, not approaching. Just occupying the space like they had every right to be there. I said, "Who are you?" A pause. Then, "We're just making sure things stay consistent." I backed away from the desk slowly. "What does that mean?" I asked. No response. Then the radio clicked off. I went to the office door and locked it again, even though I was already locked in. Minutes passed. Maybe 10. Maybe more. The rain outside got louder. Or maybe I was just noticing it more. Then came a knock. Not aggressive. Just polite. 3 taps. I didn't answer. Another knock. Same rhythm. I said, "Who is it?" Silence, then a voice, muffled through the door. "It's just procedure." That's when I stopped thinking of it as random weirdness, because nobody says procedure like that at 1:30 a.m. in an empty warehouse. I didn't open the door. The knocking stopped after a while. When I finally got enough nerve to look through the small window in the door, the hallway was empty. Completely. No footsteps, no movement. But my access log on the computer had been updated. It showed I had already clocked out at 1:42 a.m., even though I was still inside the building. That's when I panicked properly. I don't mean movie-style panic. I mean sitting down, staring at the screen, trying to convince yourself it's a glitch while your brain is screaming that someone has administrative control over your existence in this system. I left the office after that. Took the stairs slowly. Every instinct told me not to go down, but staying upstairs felt worse. The warehouse floor was dark except for emergency lights. Dock 3 was closed again, like nothing had happened. No people, no open door, nothing. I walked through the aisles, trying to find security or anyone at all. No response on radios, no movement. Then I saw the security guard's desk, empty. Coffee still there, phone on the table. I called Malik again. He picked up this time. "Where are you?" I asked immediately. Pause, then, "Home. Why are you still there?" That stopped me. "I'm literally inside the warehouse," I said. Another pause. Then he said something I still can't fully unpack. "You weren't scheduled tonight." I laughed. Actually laughed a little because it felt so absurd. Yes, I was. I've been here for 6 hours. "No," he said. "You swapped shifts yesterday." I pulled up my schedule on my phone. It showed I was off. It showed I never worked that night. But I was there. I remembered being there. I remember clocking in. I remember the dock guy. Everything. Malik said, "Leave the building. Don't use the system. Just go home." I didn't argue. I left. No one stopped me. No one was at the exit. The parking lot lights were flickering in the rain, and my car was exactly where I left it. I drove home without music. Didn't even touch the radio. And for a long time after that, I told myself it was some kind of scheduling error mixed with sleep deprivation and a poorly managed workplace. But here's the part that still messes with me. 2 weeks later, I ran into someone who used to work that shift before me. He recognized me in a store parking lot. We talked for maybe 5 minutes. When I mentioned the warehouse, his expression changed immediately. He said, "You worked nights there?" I said, "Yeah." He shook his head. "I quit because of that guy." "What guy?" He didn't even hesitate. "The dock guy." I asked him what he meant, and he just said, "Don't ever stay late enough to meet him alone. That's all I'm saying." Then he left. just like everyone else. And honestly, that's what stuck with me more than anything else. Not the cameras, not the knocking, not the access logs. It was how many people agreed not to talk about it, like silence was part of the job description. I never went back there after I quit. But sometimes, late at night, I still catch myself thinking about that dock camera, about how he waved at it like he knew someone was watching, like it wasn't me he was looking at, just whoever was supposed to be there.